I was a minute late. Dang. What's up, people? What's up, people? My computer literally shut down. I had to reboot it, everything. I was early. If y'all didn't know from any sort of other updates, I almost had to stop the stream, but I was like, no, I got this. I'm flying solo dad. The wife went to go see one of her best friends, and I've been solo dad mode with the two boys. So I'm holding down the fort. I'm getting the feeling what a stay-at-home dad feels like. Whew. So if I look a little crazy, hey, actually I don't look too crazy. I've been sending some videos to my team members, and my hair is just like, I look like I've freaking wrestled a wildebeest. We made it, people. But somehow I was still late. So I have the good old monitor on the boys right now. So if anything goes wild, I might have to leave because it's just me. But look, my kid's hiding underneath a pillow. And that's how he sleeps. And then when I come and get him in the morning, he says, hiding. So anyway, we got some stuff to talk about. We have a huge super chat to start things off with. Liam threw down a $50 super chat, so I guess we'll start there. We will do that. Answer that question first because it's a very good question talking about subclasses. Let's go. Dad mode activate. And then subclasses, baby, is going to be Bard and Barbarian. We're Barbarian. Okay. Bard and Barbarian is going to be the two subclasses. So that is going to be the start. I'm going to take a sip of my drink. This is my wife's water, and it makes me feel like she's here. So there we go. I'm hydrating. And Aegis starting it off with 20 Dungeon Coach memberships. My gosh, dude, every single week with the 20 gifted memberships. It's crazy, dude. Wow, making it rain as usual, Aegis Virium, with also a sick logo. I just love looking at that logo too. So thank you. And my wife in the chat, Sarah Bjorkren, was gifted a membership to my own YouTube channel from Aegis Virium. If that's not sweet, I don't know what it is. Vulgaria, first time fee. It's normally game night. I'm very glad to finally catch one live. And it's your first time super chat, first time fee. And Vuguera, I can tell that you're a part of this community because you understand about the fees that you guys created. I didn't even ask you guys. Y'all have made up your own fee system, and you guys tax yourselves with these super chat fees. So y'all are crazy, okay? So yes, thank you for that, Vuguera. But I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna answer the super chat right now from Liam about subclasses. We're doing Bard, then Barbarian, and then we'll see how much time we have left and answer some questions and stuff like that too, right? So here we go. Oh, Duskbreaker. That's right. So Duskbreaker, add as moderator. Moderator. There we go. Now we can get started. Okay, cool. And then Double Dub gifted 10 Dungeon Coach memberships. Oh my gosh, that is 20. That's 30 gifted memberships. So yeah, it's a party already, people. It's a party already. Late fee. Oh, Double Dub says it's the late fee. Okay, cool. Yeah. Anybody else that has joined the stream not at exactly? Well, I was a little late too, so technically it's 8:30. Anyway, let's get going. So Liam, super. Thank you, Double Dub. You guys are crazy. And then Admiral Rum, my own moderator, just became a member. What is happening? Okay, we haven't even started. Okay, and speaking of not starting, let's start. Okay, so Liam's question says, question regarding the general subclasses, the specialist subclass, the pure subclass. I'll explain what that is in a second. Which actually, I guess I'm going to explain what that is now. So I mentioned this last time, but this is a very important pertaining to subclasses. So the TLDR is every class in DC20 is going to have 3 subclasses. But I mentioned last time, a little sneak peek, that there's technically going to be a 4th subclass. The 4th subclass technically is multiple subclasses. It is a specialist within that class. So it is a pure like prime that class, right? So if you want to play a monk and you really want to play a straight up monk, like down the middle lane, stay in your lane monk, that's just a true blue monk. If you want to do that, that's the subclass for you. And what's basically going to happen is you are going to have some class talents to pick from, and whenever you choose that specialist, you are going to be given a class talent coupon, and you spend that class talent on anything, right? You just spend that class talent on anything that's within that class and you get that talent. And then you're going to be able to create your own subclass essentially within that way. Now, we're going to need some talents to do that. That's not going to be a 0.9 thing that's going to be coming in the future, but that's going to be something that's very easy, and it checks a lot of boxes as far as customization, checks a lot of boxes as far as being able to do this class, and it gives us a design space to be able to make crazier, bigger, more epic, more fantastical subclasses for these core classes, because we can go and we can think outside the box and we can go a little bit in different directions because we know we have the same safe through line down the middle, right? So I'll give that example probably with the Barbarian might be a good way to do that example. And I'll say that at the end to kind of showcase what I'm talking about. And then one of my players is doing that. So to answer the question, right? It saved Rogue last week. Yeah, exactly. Rogue, there was going to be an Assassin subclass, and that's actually a little update. Thank you for that, Empty Mimic. The Rogue subclasses are now going to be Arcane Trickster, Poisoner, and Swashbuckler. Those are the 3 Rogue subclasses now, because the Assassin and like it's different things that are more general Rogue, but that Rogue fantasy down the middle, that's just gonna be a class. If you want to play an Assassin, cool. Pick the Specialist Rogue subclass, and you're going to be given a talent at level 3, a class talent, and you spend that on the Assassin talent within Rogue, and boom, there you go. Done, right? Now, so Liam's question is, if I choose this subclass, the Specialist subclass at level 3, and just get a talent point, can I choose a subclass and gain its level 3 features at level 6? Or am I locked into just getting talents the rest of these subclass levels? So great question. And here's the answer. And again, this is all up in the air. This is speculation. This is not official yet. It's not coming in 0.9. But my answer to that question is here's how this would work. And this also speaks to the strength of the system of DC20 itself to be able to have this customization, and it kind of fit already with what's going on. So here's what I mean. At level 3, you would pick Specialist. We'll use Rogue as an example. You'd pick Specialist Rogue, boom, and you'd be given a talent. And how talents work in DC20 is you just have a talent. Think of it like a coupon. You just have a little coupon, and you're like, cool, I have a coupon. What do I want to spend this on? And the requirement for all talents is your level and stuff, right? And maybe classes, maybe there's requirements to be able to spend the talents. And if you meet the requirements for a talent, you can take it. All talents are the same in that way. It depends on what you have, right? So if you're given a talent, cool, sweet. What do I want to spend? I want to spend the Assassin thing. Cool, awesome, nice. Now, at level 6, you would be given another class talent. Oh, cool. I can go spend this on things. So in general, how it's going to work right now is you would be spending that on class talents. And currently in the current design space where we're seeing this, it is restricted to class talents, which is a subset of talents of class talents. There's general talents, and you get the idea, right? So it would be restricted to class talents. Now, with this question and the design intent is just to stay within your class in that way. So in regards to what Liam's saying, I absolutely think it would be possible, and that's an interesting topic, and that would be an intended, oh yeah, I mean, that makes sense, to be able to take a level 6, because this is also a staple. This is also a staple in DC20, is to be able to take a talent that you get at a later level to go spend something early. That's already been a precedent of something you can do. So I absolutely see at level 6, you have a class talent. I could see you spending that class talent on a class talent, or going back and taking a level 3 subclass if you wanted to. You'd be staggered and delayed in that way, but I could totally see you doing that if that's the way you want to handle and go with it. And that's the type of flexibility that I want to have in this generalist, specialist, whatever we're going to call this thing. But yeah, there we go. So anyway, class talent means a talent that is restricted to only that class. That's what that means. So it's like a kind of like a class feature, etc. Class talents. Yeah. That's what a class talent is. And there's a couple of class talents that are going to be in 0.9. So yeah. But anyway, there we go. Then I think that's it right there. Right. Cool. Aegis, I see you in chat. It says testing chat. I see you. There you go. Log. I can't type. Yeah, I can see you. You can type. All right. Cool. So there we go. Thank you, Max Stearns, for the hydration check. So now let's get into the subclass reveals. Now, first up is going to be Barbarian. Right? The Barbarian is going to be an interesting one. So the how the Barbarian's looking right now is we have a wild we have two that are locked in for 0.9, and those are going to be the two that are coming out in 0.9. And then we have something a little bit crazy we're between two crazy options to kind of get wild, right? You'll see what I mean with wild. And Tulane, I see you. Tulane. I see you. But here's the big picture. Now, some of these right now, I'm going to say, and I want to talk about this right now before I share it. Okay, so to the chat's not like, wait a second, blah blah blah. Couple of things when it comes to DC20 compared to D&D and all that kind of stuff. I gave an example of this last week with the Arcane Trickster. Arcane Trickster in D&D, and by no means, I'm not trying to like dump on D&D right now. No. I'm giving a side-by-side comparison example. There are things I love, there are things I'd tweak, there's all that kind of stuff, right? So side-by-side for this, and I'm gonna do the opposite of this here in a second. So for Arcane Trickster Rogue in D&D 5e, it's very basic. It is literally Rogue, and you gain spellcasting. And you gain some access to some illusion stuff and like a mage hand thing, and if your mage hand's visible, like you get, so it's very Rogue, sprinkle magic, and it's like illusion, and you know what I'm saying? So it's pretty simple as far as that goes. The Arcane Trickster in mind for DC20 is you have a duplicate of yourself, and you can switch places with a duplicate of yourself, and it's kind of like I explained it last time, Echo Knight from the fighter in D&D, where you have like an echo of yourself, and all that you can do certain things like that. I think that's much more Rogue fantasy, and you can summon an illusionary duplicate of yourself, and it can move around. You can switch places with. Like, there's been really some really cool stuff that the Arcane Trickster in DC20 is going to be. So if you look at both of those rogues, I'm obviously in DC20, we're not going to call it Arcane Trickster, right? But if we have a Arcane Trickery Rogue and an Arcane Trickery Rogue in D&D and DC20, they're going to be completely different. Wow, they're going to be completely different, right? So that's already a thing, right? So when I talk about Barbarian right now, there might be some similarities. So it's a subclass. Like, oh, I've seen that subclass in D&D, and trust me, it's going to be way different as far as the classes and how it's feeling. We are going to be able to have a fresh, not just a coat of paint that we're putting over it is from the core different, right? So that's one thing. And then also, this came up in the team. We had this conversation with the team, and the team at one point, somebody on the team was like, "Oh, but like these are so similar to 5e," and I was like, "Time out. I need to get a whistle, like a boop, like I need to get a whistle or get an actual whistle. I could just do that." But the thing that the timeout that I want to share with you guys too is I don't want to not do something because D&D did it, and now, oh, I'm not going to do it because D&D did it, and DC20 is going to be worse off because I want to go this certain direction, but I can't because D&D has something somewhat similar as concept-wise. Mechanically, like I said, completely different, like I said, with Arcane Tricksters. But I don't want to not go down certain rabbit holes because, like, oh, D&D has this type of thing. I guess I can't do it. And then now y'all are screwed over because there's something I absolutely agree with in D&D's, fantasy or direction. And I thought that was a great subclass. And I really think that should be in, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, there's that. Duxter Morales, Coach, please make a marksman class with gunslinger, sniper, bomber subclasses. They make my dreams come true. Love this guy. Love DC20. Can't imagine it can be in a magazine in the future. So I will have a very longer in-depth thing about marksman class with gunslinger, bomber, sniper, bomber. So a marksman gunslinger type situation would be a champion. I have something that is something what you would want. There's a future release that is being released at the same time the Artificer is being released. So there is a gunslinger creating your own weapon type thing champion subclass that is probably what you're wanting, that's being released with the Artificer in a future expansion. and the artificer would probably have something having to do with bomber, or possibly the hunter would have something to do with bomber. So you're going to be taken care of, absolutely. It might not be a class that has those things, but that's a longer discussion. But thank you, Dougster. I love the passion. Even in just that message, I see, you talk like I do with a bunch of exclamation points, and you're capitalizing things. I feel like we're synced up there, Dougster. So appreciate you, dude. And then whistle. I know I need a whistle, but I don't want it to be too loud and like come across to sound like hydration. Thank you, Malzor. Haha. Okay. So now with all of that out of the way, now let's talk about this barbarian subclass. So the first one is maybe my favorite barbarian subclass. Gosh, oh my gosh. I love barbarian. I love barbarian subclasses. So it is my second favorite barbarian subclass. And these two barbarian subclasses have been, I have had a campaign. Oh my gosh. I just realized, literally just now, live right now, two of the three barbarian subclasses. All right, so these two are locked in, and we're talking about these between these two, right? So with all of this, three of these are the three barbarians that have been in my campaigns. I think that's funny. I had no idea. I did not realize that till just now. But in my first campaign was one of the subclasses as far as the flavor and concept of it, and another one was it. So it's funny that like these barbarians that I've seen, and I in a lot of ways I've seen them play. I loved parts of it, and I did not like parts of it, and I had to homebrew patch fix certain parts of it. But anyway, this barbarian is near and dear to my heart. It's probably one of the most emotionally charged moments I've seen come from a subclass. But the first barbarian subclass in 0.9 for DC20 is the Spirit Barbarian. This is the ancestors, spirits of your ancestors, an ancient barbarian, ancient spirits, all that kind of stuff, right? So this barbarian is going to be all about some sort of spirits from your past, some sort of protective earthen spirit, some sort of, whether it be some sort of thing connected to you, people you knew, your ancestors, things like that, spirits, ghosts, nature spirits, whatever. This is a spirit barbarian. It is going to be about protection, being able to protect yourself, protect allies, things going and moving around, even possibly like within a certain range. You have like the unseen servant type of things. We can move things around with spirits, and they can interact with things and protect things. So there's that. That one, I think I could tell us some story rants about how awesome this one is, but I really wanted to have a spirit theme. And Shaman is going to be a class released in the future in DC20. And of course, that's going to have a spirit subclass. We have a witch going for the wizard, and that's, can get a little voodoo type stuff going on. But I wanted to have a spirit theme, and I think Barbarian's a great fit for it. So yeah, basically that is going to be the LA Spirit Barbarian is the big picture there. So there's that. And then there's also one of the subclasses for Druid is currently has a spirit theme as well. So there's that. That is one of the two. The second one that is for sure in 0.9, and this one I might give a sneak peek into the way it's different. The second subclass for Barbarian in 0.9 is going to be an Elemental Barbarian, right? This Elemental Barbarian is going to be currently slated. In fact, maybe I might do a vote on this. The Elemental Barbarian, in fact, I am going to do a vote on this, okay? So the Elemental Barbarian is going to have an element that they choose. They don't get to shift back and forth between a bunch of different ones, and they pick all of them, and they shift. Now they're lightning, now they're fire, now they're... No. This barbarian is going to be elemental themed. You pick an element, and you're going to be able to have, whenever you rage, right? Going around like that, right? So the difference here compared to what you might be familiar with in 5e is here's how this is going to work. In fact, I want to do the vote. I want to do the vote on this first. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to do a vote, start a poll. Which elemental barbarian choices, right? So here's the difference between the choices. Here's you'll see the poll in a second here, blue cucumber. Here's where my head's at. This elemental barbarian, what are the elements you can choose from? What are the concept? What is the fantasy of what I want people to be able to choose? Where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line? Okay. So option one is literally the elements of fire, lightning, cold. Shumph. That's it. Fire, lightning, cold. That's it, right? They're more amorphous. They're more malleable. They can obviously still be storm adjacent, right? Where you have cold and fire and lightning and things like that, right? So there's that, okay? That's it. So it would just be fire, lightning, cold, right? That's it, okay? Now, or option two, and here I'm gonna throw this out there. Add in earth as well, okay? Add in earth as well, and this is where my head's going. You would have fire, lightning, cold, and earth, okay? And you would be able to truly have elements, and you could be a geo barbarian and be able to have rocks and granite and like things like that, and be able to have an earthen barbarian. You could have a fire, you could have a lightning, you could have a cold, and you could also slant and flavor these things to be storms and stuff too. So if you wanted to be a storm barbarian, you could choose lightning. If you wanted to be a desert barbarian, you could choose earth and have a swarm of sands flow around you and stuff as well. So do we also include earth is really the question, right? That is ultimately the question, is do we also include earth? That is what I want to add the question. So option one on this poll that I just put out there, option one is fire, lightning, cold. That's it. Option two is fire, lightning, cold, and earth. Also including earth as a possible choice, and I'll explain how that works here in a second. So yeah, and then heart. I see the Captain Planet element. Heart, fire, heart. You have charm effect. You have while raging, you can charm people and deal true damage to them. Andrew Tucker, that's funny. But Andrew Tucker says, do you want more or less options? It's a little deeper than that, because the design space, the feature would be entirely different. It would not be the feature plus more. It would be this feature or this completely different feature, most likely. That'd be similar, but yeah, so I agree. That's where I also ended up, is I was very passionate about wanting to also choose earth. So here's how this is a sneak peek. This is a sneak peek, y'all. I have my version of the elemental barbarian in front of me, and this is where I'm going. Now, again, don't quote me on this. This is early design work. This is just me. My team hasn't seen this yet. This is just me. So when you rage, this is cool. When you rage, upon gaining this subclass, when you get this subclass, you have to make some choices. You gain an aura that is 2 spaces around you. While raging, the aura activates, okay? And there's an active effect that happens whenever you rage, and this stuff happens. You make 2 choices on, you can customize, build your own aura, like build an aura, customize your own aura with this elemental situation. You can choose one of the 2 choices you make. One is the damage type. You can choose fire. Stay with me here. Y'all see where this is going. You can choose fire. You can choose lightning. You can choose cold. Fire, lightning, cold. And we just said earth, right? I want to see where y'all's heads go, and I might blow your minds with this. And I got really excited with this. I had an epiphany. I was like, oh my gosh, that is actually pretty cool. If you choose earth, what would your damage type be? Oh no, I would choose bludgeoning, and then bludgeoning, that's just worse than all these other ones. Here's the idea that I had, and I really do like this. Fire, lightning, cold, or bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing, your choice. Every time that you deal damage, you can change it. You are able to shift and change the type of damage you deal with your earth. If you want to have jagged stalagmites, right, and pierce the target, sick. If you want to slam a spiral of rocks, slash it into them, bang. Or if you want to get a big old boulder and just hit them with it, bludgeoning. You're going to be able to adapt the weapon type. So if you're fighting a skeleton, choose bludgeoning, bang, it actually matters. If you're going to fight something that has piercing, and piercing, oh, it deals more, you get an idea? So I think this is a great realization I had. In order to bring the physical damage types on par with the elemental in that way, I think that's awesome, right? So heck yeah, blue cucumber, we're synced up. So yeah, I think that's super exciting. So you're gonna be able, one, again, you get two choices. One is you choose your damage type, right? And then two, you might like this even better, you choose what kind of aura you have. Right now there's a choice of 3 auras. I think I'm gonna stop at 3 auras, but I'm not done with the brainstorm process. You either pick an aura that deals damage to everything around you, or you pick an aura that deals damage, bigger damage to one single target. So it's like boom, like a targeted, like you get hit with damage, right? So it's either an AoE for, we'll say an AoE for 1 damage, a single target attack for 3 damage, or you have an aura around you of that 2 spaces, and it's difficult terrain for all creatures within you. It's difficult terrain for all creatures around you, and you get the slow maneuver for free on any attack you make on people within your aura. I think that's freaking cool. I think it's freaking cool. So you want to play a Blizzard Barbarian? Choose cold, choose slowing aura. How? That's sick, right? That's freaking sick, right? You want to play a Desert Barbarian? Sure, do bludgeoning and pick the slowing aura. So you have a sand swirling around you, right? If you want to pick a Desert Barbarian, but you want to deal damage with that sand, so you have a sandstorm swirling around you that deals damage to people around you. Like, yeah, that's freaking sick. You want to play a lightning-based shocking barbarian, so choose lightning and then choose the single target, like, right? I just think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. So I think it's going to just be so cool. I'm very excited for that. And stay with me. That's level 3, right? That's level 3. So this is going to be able to hit Storm Barbarian. It's going to be able to hit a Nature Barbarian. It's going to be able to hit an Elemental Barbarian. So this one subclass just does so much. I think it's super cool. And that's what you get at level 3. What do you think you're going to get at level 6? You know what I'm saying? So I don't even want to say anymore. Content bro. Yes, that's where or connect bro. That's where my head has been going for where the possible 4th one would be that a more defensive option. The possible 4th one. Let me actually pull up. I have the where's my aura types? Yep. So defense is the last option that I have not gone down the rabbit hole of yet. But I could see something having like, okay, resistance based on this or temporary hit points, but you know what I'm saying? So that could be another option there too. So there is the 2 barbarians, elemental and spirit. Sick, right? Now, the other two, I'm going to be very quick with these because I'm not going to, Jason Neville, DBZ Gohan Barbarian. That is one of the extra ones that's either going to be a class talent or is a future subclass down the line. I'm calling it Gohan / Mama Bear Barbarian is the development name for it right now. But it's a barbarian that gets mad when other people get injured. That is on the list, and it's slated to maybe be a talent. But right now, yeah. So I see you, Jason. But the 2 other ones, because again, DC20 is gonna have 3. So those are 2 of them, and the last one is between these 2. Right, the last one's between these 2, and you know what? I'm gonna do another vote here. I'm gonna do another vote here for the 3rd one. I'm gonna do another vote because it's not set in stone. 3rd barbarian subclass. We're gonna say I almost said it out loud, or aha. Okay, so I'm gonna do the 2 pitches for it. Here it's between these 2 for the 3rd one. Right, for the 3rd one. I'll start with the one that you're most familiar with, and then I'm going to talk about the way outside the box one. The 3rd one is Wild Magic Barbarian. Shocker. If you have not seen it, I have a Wild Magic Barbarian that I made. I played a whole campaign with it. With one of my players played it. It has a D12, it's a D20 Wild Rage. When you rage, something wild happens. It has a huge. It is my one of my favorite subclasses I've ever made. It is amazing. I love it. I could do a whole rant on it about what this is, and bringing that over to DC20 I think would be awesome. I don't know if it goes in the core rules, but we'll see. right? And as some of the people are saying in the chat, shocker, I'm shocked. I'm utterly shocked. White wolves. So yes. And common viewer. Common viewer. What a crazy name right now. Double dub, another gifted membership. Wow. So yeah. My wrestle is if it's in the core rules or not. Absolutely 100% Wild Magic Barbarian is going to be a thing in DC20. 100%. It is also very on brand for me, but I'm not trying to have my opinion sway things. There's another reason why I'm having you guys vote. So the Wild Magic Barbarian is absolutely crazy. It's super cool. Basically, you roll a d20 and you have one of 20 options, and something wild happens, and then you gain a passive effect. And that's what your whole thing is. You can switch rages and roll a d20 again and get another random different one, and some sort of wild surge happens based on the d20 you rolled, and then you get a passive effect, right? So that is the Wild Magic Barbarian in a nutshell. If you want to see the 5th edition version, I have that. I absolutely, I probably, I don't know. It's on my website. I think it's in the Wild Magic supplement thing. But anyway, that is one of them, of course, right? So the fourth one though, the other option here, and this one's way outside the box. This was one of my first ideas for barbarian subclasses, and it's stayed with me. I really think it's innovative and different and out there, but it might be too out there. So here we go. The other option here is a possession barbarian. This barbarian doesn't necessarily rage. They get possessed. So whenever they rage and when they enter a rage, they aren't themselves anymore. They become possessed by a spirit, by an entity, by a demon, by a ghost, by whatever you want to say. And the barbarian rages, and they aren't themselves anymore. And they go for it, right? You can role play that it's not you anymore, or it is you, but you become empowered, and you can just do whatever you want with this, right? But Venom, you get the idea, right? So you become possessed, and the powers that you get become domination powers, where you can start to possibly dominate others. You can gain ghostly powers and possibly psychic things, ghost stuff, right? You get the idea, right? So now Hulk smash. I mean, yeah, barbarian. You're going to be able to go crazy with that as well. But I don't want y'all to get that. Keep in mind, possession barbarian is not Hulk fantasy, right? Keep in mind, Hulk. You can just do that already with a regular barbarian. Keep that in mind. Hulk is 100% flavor, right? If you wanted to play Hulk, you would choose the specialist barbarian and choose the pure barbarian, like generalist class, subclass, and you would just be a barbarian, and then you would just say, when I rage, I enter, you know what I'm saying, right? So there's that, right? So whenever with this possession barbarian, right? The possession barbarian is going to have magical, ghostly domination type of effects. I think like a level 6th feature, a 6th level feature would be that you could possess others. Like you could literally, like the thing possessing you could go and dominate. You could dominate another person on the battlefield, and the spirit that's possessing you could also reach out and possess somebody else or something. You know, there's so many different ways that we could go with this, right? So it's a little bit wild, it's a little bit out there, but there's that. So there's two different things there. I genuinely want y'all to think about this choice. I'm not necessarily going with the vote on this. I just really want to get a pulse check on what you guys think. Both of them are awesome and crazy and cool. I don't want you to just choose possession because like, oh, it's the new thing. I haven't heard that before. Do that. This is what's in the core rules, and you won't see the other one for a while. So think about this choice as far as which one you'd want to see and which one you think would be a better fit in the core rules. So there we go. Vote goes out. Bang. Right? I'm going to check the super chats to make sure I didn't miss anything. There we go. Cernobog. Can Earth be a new damage type? Oh, yeah. Cernobog, I would say no. Earth being a damage type isn't a damage type. Like, if I get hit with fire, that's fire hitting me, and it's burning my body, right? Lightning is electricity in the air, and it hits me. Poison, like, damage types are clean. Earth as a damage type is something physical smashing into you. So it already is piercing, slashing, or bludgeoning, and literally is what I kind of described earlier, is if you have a spire of rock thrown at you, that's piercing damage. Like, that's literally what it is, right? Earth being different and having an earth damage type, you know what I'm saying? just doesn't fit in that way. I think the solution to bringing it on par with the rest of them is exactly what I was saying about having it be a choice. And then Corey LaFrance, Jekyll and Hyde vibes. Gimme it. I love that. Gimme it. Gimme that. Live chat. Okay, cool. So possession 61, 60-40. Possession 60, wild magic 40. Yep. What if you were a water elemental and got hit with sand? What is that? What? Oh, you're talking about earth damage? Earth element is just basic damage types. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, there's the thing there. We got 60-40, 64. So y'all leaning more towards possession. Yeah. And I think that one is a bit more it would cover more types of barbarians, and people, I think more people would make one like, oh, I want to make a barbarian like that, compared to wild magic, because wild magic is definitely a niche fantasy of, I just want to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, better narrative. I could agree with that. So yeah. And if you want, it's depending on how the mechanics of possession go, you can be able to do certain things like the fantasy of the Hulk, the Venom, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and that's already like a huge thing right there, right? Late fee and wild magic bribe. Wheeler from Bardic Aggravation throws out a $20 super chat to try and bribe me in front of 350 people. Openly bribing. I cannot be bought, Wheeler, although I do love wild magic so much. But yeah, possession is where I think it's on my list here. It is above wild magic, and I have them ranked by like what I think should be. Yeah, you get the idea. So the villain from Chronicle of Riddick Barbarian. What? I've never seen Chronicle of Riddick double dub. Dang it. I'm out of the loop on that one. Dang it. All right. Now to the last one, to the Bard. Now the Bard, I almost didn't even want to share the Bard with you guys. Right? What I mean by that is nothing against you guys. The Bard is the most up in the air of all 13 classes. And what I mean by up in the air is we couldn't decide between 4. We couldn't decide which ones. So we're like, shoot. And we're just going to make 4. We're just going to make 4. And the other crazy part, to really pull the curtain back on the design process, one of them is a lock-in. 100%. I'm the most excited about this one. But these ones, we were literally all over the place, not only what they are, but what the design is, like what the mechanics are, what the play style is. Like, we don't even know, right? As far as we each individually know, but we each didn't agree on something. We all had cool ideas that are going in wildly different directions. So what's going to happen with the Bard is we're going to just, each of us, everyone on the team is going to make different subclasses in here. And then we're going to see who has the coolest one and which pocket it fits into. And then we'll have 4. And then we'll be like, okay, now we have to choose who. So yeah. Oof. So all I'm going to talk about for the Bard, at least the 3 that are up in the air, and really this one, I'm going to talk about the fantasy, and I'm going to try not to talk about the mechanics, because the mechanics could go a lot of different ways, right? So here we go. It's how appropriate it is for the Bard to be the wild one, right? And then Shonen Academia, is there a Super Saiyan breaking point barbarian? Wait till we talk about the monk, sorcerer, barbarian, all of that has Dragon Ball Z vibes already, just waiting to be there, right? So now, and then Wisdom Hunter, you could absolutely flavor the Possession Barbarian to be a Curse Barbarian. You know what I'm saying? So as far as the flavor, you absolutely, right? And then we also have another super chat from Dan. Progress update on the original digital character sheet app promised in the Kickstarter, please. Is it being scrapped in favor of Demi Play? No. So the update is the team of volunteers are still working on it, and that's why I absolutely even people on the team. So the digital dev team is a team of volunteers that are making a digital character creator, and they're working on it, right? They freely brought themselves on there. They are a whole team of volunteers, and they're still working on this thing. Somebody on the team was like, yeah, tell them we'll have it ready in 1 month right after that. And I was like, nope, I'm not saying no way. There's no way. And I'm so glad that I didn't, because here we are now, 5 months after, and it's still not in a spot to give out yet, which is why I'm like, okay, nope, all right, they're gonna make it. And I think I would be a jerk if I was like, hey, give me that thing that you volunteers are like, you know what I'm saying? So I can't be like up on them like that, right? So once they make it and publish it and give it out as a resource, and then it starts to be a thing, and then we can maybe start to have that digital product be able to make some sort of revenue to be able to come in, I would just take that revenue and give it straight to them, and then they would be, okay, cool, now we have a team, now we can make, and that's going to be how that goes, right? So that is still in the works, definitely not getting scrapped. It's because it's something I promised in the Kickstarter, so absolutely not being scrapped. And Demiplane's doing their thing, Foundry's doing their thing, Alchemy's doing their thing, everybody's doing their thing, but absolutely that's not going to be being scrapped at all. And then Shonen, this Sunday I'm ending a year-long DC20 campaign. That's wild. Somebody's played a year-long DC20 campaign. Shonen, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, Shonen, that's amazing. And Rexroom, have you considered a future multi-class subclass? Something for those who don't want to double down fast tracking me in 2 classes. Probably just one more class, but feels like value for multi-classers. That's been talked about, Rexroom. I definitely don't want to have that be in playtesting, in early playtesting, because I want people to playtest the actual stuff. So if something like that were to be a thing, it would be like the last thing added, like literally the last thing added in the last update. You know what I'm saying? Just for design reasons. So people play the game in the way it's intended, and then they can go wild, right? It probably could be a variant rule in the advanced gameplay guide, just to answer your question fully, Rexroom. So anyway, hydration and then Bard. All right. So the first subclass that is the lock-in of the 4 that are floating around with. One of them is a lock-in, and the other 3 are kind of up in the air in that way. Is the Jester slash the comedy. It's the Jester. It's the Jester Bard. I feel like that is something that I've not seen in that way. And in dear God, is it a Bard? Like, I think that's just awesome. Hey, what's up, Scott Nuffer? What's up, Scott? I see you. So yeah, the Joker, the Jester. I think it's gonna be awesome. I am super excited for this one. This Jester is designed to mess with the enemies, like mess with the enemies, screw them up, like talk smack, cutting words, vibes, conditions, and messing with people, like a little bit of control, a little bit of pizzazz against the enemy, screwing up the enemy's plans, messing with the enemy while making your allies laugh and giving them buffs and making them better. You know what I'm saying? So it's a the theater mask of like the happy and sad of like the buffs and so it's a middle ground type of situation where you're messing up the enemy, making allies laugh, making them feel good. So you're buffing your allies with some happy, and then enemies with sad. You get the idea, right? So rodeo clown, literally rodeo clown would be like Jester Bard Monk, right? Like whoa, Dutch. I love it. It's funny. So yeah, Jester Bard. I absolutely love Jester Bard. Buff debuff Jester Bard. Right there you go. I love that breakdown. Tasha's ugly giggle. Wheeler, another super. I get Wheeler. Dude, all Wheeler does are just $20 super chats. No matter what he says, Wheeler just straight up every time $20 super chats. I respect the consistency. Thank you, dude. Also been meaning to thank you for giving us a subclass option. That's huge. Giving us a subclass. A subclassless option. Yes. It is huge. It's been huge in the design aspect too, of being able to create, being able to take big swings and create awesome subclasses that people are excited to play, while maintaining people being able to make whatever they want. Right. I think it was a brilliant, perfect fit for DC20. I was literally, I remember every time I have certain ideas, I was driving and making a left next to the gas station that's under construction, and I was like, oh, wait a second. And I was thinking about all the Warlock subclasses, and then we were thinking about Bard, and I was like, wait a second. And I instantly sent a message to my team, but then turns out the team is talking about something kind of like the multi-classless thing, and they were thinking of something. So I was like, something's here, right? And so then, yeah, we'll talk more. But anyway, Thank you for that, Wheeler. And then Joseph, please, orator / politician bard. Orator / politician bard. How fitting with all the election stuff. So, politician. Actually, Joseph, we'll segue this, and one of the three could be, you could say that they are something like this: a speaker of kinds, something like that, right? I was not driving. I was driving. I'm sorry, Shleem. I'm sorry. I was driving and then sending videos. No, he was driving for sure. Admiral knows. So of the other three, here are the other three. One of them is eloquence and glamour. The concepts of eloquence and glamour that you've seen from D&D. It's an influence bard, a persuasion bard, a charm bard, a mess with other people and get them to do what you want them to do bard. Dominate people, command, get them to do things that you want them to do. So when I say eloquence and glamour, if you really think about it, I did a deep dive on so many of this. I did a deep dive on the concept of eloquence bard and a glamour bard from 5e. It's literally get people to do what you want because you look good, glamour, and you're like, you blink and your eyes sparkle and you get them because of you, just the way you look, and you're getting people to do what you want based on how you look, glamour bard. Or eloquence, you're getting people to do what you want them to do by what you say, and you're so good at talking and speaking in this way. Orator, getting able to speak and use your tongue. Oh, that's interesting, bard. Being able to say things, silvery tongue is what I was trying to say. The way things you say versus how you look, all those things. That concept, I don't know why I would want to separate that concept for a bard. So I think this should just be a bard that gets you to do what they want you to do in a charming / domination type of way. There you go, right? The sociopath. So that is one. That's one of the three that's kind of swirling around. I have things mechanically. I think I would take that. The team has things mechanically in a wildly different direction that they would take that. All valid, and we'll see where it comes out and looks like. Next one. This one I'm the most excited about. And the team was like, wait, what? But this one excites me, and we'll see. But it's an empath bard. It's literally, bards are all about emotions, right? Bards are about emotions, and they use their emotions. That's where their magic comes from. It comes from emotions and art and expression and all that kind of stuff. An empath bard, stay with me here. An empath bard could have the feelings and the connection of emotions from conditions in DC20, the intimidated, fear, charm, these types of conditions that can affect you and mess with your emotions. They would be able to pull the strings on that. For their allies, they would pull the strings and protect them from getting these negative emotions. They would protect them from fear. They protect them from charm. They protect them from these types of conditions. Meanwhile, the enemies, they would be able to make them fear, pull on those emotional heartstrings to make them charmed, make them frightened, make them whatever, right? I think that's very interesting. And then a mechanical option, and this is usually further than I usually share, but in my head where the mechanics are, is an empath bard would have such strong connections to people around them's emotions, they could literally switch the emotions of people. So if one of your allies is feared and they're afraid and they're frightened in some way, and an empath bard could take that fear and move it onto an enemy. That's crazy. And you have this scared, frightened ally that now you literally take that fear, you bottle it up with your empath abilities, and you give that fear to someone else, right? I think that's freaking awesome. I love that. Just in general, emotional manipulator. that is a one way to say it, right? So, yeah, I think that is Wheeler, you win, bro. Okay, so Wheeler sent a, now put my foot in my mouth, not $20 super chat, and did $21.50. Now, I'll say this, if you really wanted to one-up me again, it would have been $21.53. You know what I'm saying? Having to be 50, I think that was a little bit predictable. Unpredictability fee. That's funny. And then Rex Room, an empath bard actually sounds perfect. It naturally works against the stereotype of a selfish, horny bard that many people dislike. Yeah, I think it's just emotions, right? And it's dealing with emotions of the good and the bad and the scared and the I agree. I empath bard was one of my favorites. But and then the team had other favorites, and we'll see where it all goes. Because I by no means am like, oh no, screw you guys, it's this, right? You know, so I really want to see what's best for the game, not just what my favorite things are. Because if we base it on what my favorite things are, the Wild Magic Barbarian would be going in there. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so yeah, then we have Jester, we have persuasive, domination, get people to do what you want, bard. We have the empath bard, and the last one that is the dark side of bards is the whispers, the mental trickery, the dark side of like fae type stuff. This is, I guess, a more manipulation type of thing, but this is not talking about like domination and emotions. This is more so like getting into their heads, like literally getting into their minds, like psychic damage type stuff, hallucinations, and what, you know, like I saw something or whatever. So a whispers bard, a dark, you can speak into people's minds and all that kind of stuff. Emo bard, right? So a whisper bard, right? So that one, we'll see if that one does something there. But that is, those are the four. So get out of my head, Gaslight bard, wow. A scarecrow. Dude, oh, Travis Actual, yes, Scarecrow bard, wow. Scarlet Witch, I could see that. That's funny. Why is that a bard, not a sign? Oh yeah. So I mean, what's a good example of this? Anything I say that would be like nature based, right? If I set a subclass for a certain class and it was nature based, and someone was like, oh well, why is that not druid, right? That would be I don't want to shoot that thing down. It's anything that gets mental. Oh, that scion. No. I don't want people to get in that mind space, that headspace of like, oh, well, there's an elementalist class, so the elemental barbarian shouldn't exist because there's an elementalist class. You know, oh no. That's not how I want DC20 to work. So a bard, a whispers bard, those features are going to be tied to their bard class features, and they're going to be changing how the way the bard works in that way. So absolutely, those two things will be able to exist. And the scion could dive into that whole thing more so in lots of different ways. But if you wanted to play a bard that was able to, there we go. Fred, thank you. My whole mouth is dry. Sounds like Fae. Yeah, Fae. And honestly, with two of those, we have the positive side of Fae, right? And then like with the eloquence, glamour, persuasion, words and stuff. And then we have the dark side of Fae. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of have that two things could be pretty cool as well. So heck yeah. So there's Bard. Boom. Done. There is the subclass breakdown. Whew. We did it. So now Emperor Bard Patine. I just saw that super chat, Rose. I love that. I love the play on words, and I love the Bard plus Star Wars. You're gonna get me on that one for sure. So heck yeah. And then that's all of them. That is all of them. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So I'll end the. Oh my gosh, we only have 5 minutes left. We only have 5 minutes left. So for the next 5 minutes, I'm just gonna hang out with the chat. We don't usually get a chance to do this. So I'm just gonna hang out with the chat. Whisper Bar sounds cool. Usually we're like going, or I open up questions and I have a question log. We didn't get a chance to do a Q&A because we only have 5 minutes left. So I'm not gonna like take questions formally like that. But if y'all want to ask, talking in the stream, I'm checking you guys out. Shout out Bard. Blank Bard. Oh, there's the penguin emoji. A penguin Bard. Oh my gosh, Harry Koo. Nope. Maestro. See, a lot of these subclasses, like a Maestro Bard, you could absolutely do that. Just any Bard could be that fantasy. You know what I'm saying? Any progress for the Dark Visions nerf / rework? Vapora Light. Vapora Light. That's a whole big rabbit hole because there is a Shadow Sorcerer subclass that we are working on. It's not one of the core subclasses, but it's one of the ones my players is working on, and we are actively rethinking all of things involving Darkness and Dark Vision, both together. So both of those are actively being worked on. WQB had a question. WQB had a question? What? Did I miss a super chat? All bards seem very manipulative. All the bards seem very manipulative. Interesting. 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 I'm going to put a note down from that. All bards seem very manipulative. I don't think that's going to be how it plays out. I think that's an interesting perspective for me to make a note on. I think that's an interesting perspective, so that's why I respect it to take a note on that. I don't think that's how it's going to play out, and I think that would, in my head, that's kind of like, oh, all the champions are based around weapons. Like, well, and it's kind of like what the bard does. They're good with words. They're good with their magic. It affects people. It affects their allies in good ways. It affects their enemies in bad ways. We're dealing psychic damage. We're scaring people. We're doing a loot. So I think it's varied enough to where it's not like all of them are two down the middle. But I think that's a valid thing there. And then Duskbreaker send a message in the moderator. Send a message in the moderator's chat. Is you're saying what WQB had a question for. Making humanoids with some humanoids. God's making a humanoid elf. Your elf god. Oh, power hungry. That's a whole lore rabbit hole. We don't have that's a deep rabbit hole there. And then we got a bunch of super chats coming in. What? Kyle Doring, in terms of bard moving conditions, would you consider putting conditions into two types, physical versus mental conditions? Also, you mentioned in your Foundry VTT video that 0.8 is available. When will we get an update? Oh, so yeah, Foundry 0.8 is available on Foundry right now. Yes, I just made a video on that. Yes. And then when will we get an update for 0.9? You'll get an update for 0.9 as soon as everybody else, so as soon as 0.9 releases the PDF, they'll be chewing it up the whole time over there on Foundry, as far as that goes. So yeah, that's 0.9. My goal is to try and get 0.9 out to you guys for your Christmas present. Is my goal is to get 0.9, give y'all 0.9 as a Christmas present to you guys. That's my goal. But it's looking tight right now. Broken War. After 0.9, will there be any updates on other VTTs like Alchemy RPG? I mean, that has nothing to do, Broken War, that has nothing to do with the 0.9, 0.10, 0.11, anything like that. That is purely has to do with them. So as soon as Demiplane has something, I'm gonna make a video. As soon as Alchemy has something, I'm gonna make a video. As soon as we have our own character, I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna make a video on anything that's like updates. So it's more so on them to make the stuff ready, and then I'll make a video on it, right? It's pretty much how I run that. So thank you for the super chat, Broken War. Rex Room. Whoa. Rex Room. What subclass do you think would fit a tattoo bard? What's funny, Rex Room? The fifth option down here is tattoo bard. And the whole concept of the tattoo bard was a bard that puts buffs on their allies and it stays on their allies. And like their magic lingers on them, and they literally put magic on them that's on their body. And then we're like, wait a second, is that a subclass or is that just a class talent? Because I feel like that's a class talent. You know what I'm saying? I could go in a longer example and use a druid as an example for their wild shapes and stuff. But that was not going to be a subclass, and it's probably going to be a class talent to be able to have your magic linger on your allies. And then your flavor would be that you're a tattoo bard, but that's a whole deeper conversation there. And then Regan P, one bard idea I've had is a painter bard. Yeah, one of the bard concepts we had was a creation bard. Like you create things, like you create and like almost like summon things, but that is heavily steps on the summoner's toes. And I'm not saying it steps on the summoner's toes in a way that it won't be a subclass, because I absolutely see it that it could be a subclass, but we want to make the summoner first before we make that, you know what I'm saying? So Painter Bard is also something that I absolutely would like to see. But what are the mechanics of a Painter Bard? You know what I'm saying? Like what are the mechanics of a Painter Bard? Because I see a Painter Bard as something you can make right now in DC20 at level 1 and just say you're a painter, and that's how you flavor everything, right? And you're a Painter Bard, done, right? But what would the mechanics be? I think it would be like a creation bard, right? And then Double Dub gifted 10, or we have had 50 gifted memberships. Wow. Thank you guys. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Been playtesting since 0.4. Shonen, no wonder you got a year-long campaign from 0.4 to 0.8. All the alpha, you did the whole alpha stretch, and the beta release, and now here you go. And then you can start a new one with 0.9, baby. Let's go, Shonen. That's awesome. So there we go. Oh, and there's two more. Oh, I almost missed them. Vapora Light. I think weapon styles are complicated and hard to track. Will they be intuitive and simplified in the future? Currently, what we're focusing on is the subclasses, right? So once the subclasses are made, the next thing we're focusing on is spells, and the spells will get made. And I'm going to constantly be feeling out weapon styles and all that stuff. So far, from my experience and the feedback I've gotten with all the essentially hundreds of people that I've played with, I haven't seen any negative feedback on weapon styles in that way, right? Now, I'm not saying that is wrong feedback, because anyone's feeling of a game is absolutely valid in their experience of like, oh man, this feels off. And as that, this is the first time Vapora's super chat is the first time I've seen this of like, weapon styles are complicated, hard to track. Like, okay, cool, interesting, I see that, right? In my experience, people don't just swap around weapons like crazy all the time. They just have a weapon and they know what their style is because that's the weapon they generally use. And if they switch a weapon, yeah, they might have to check it, but then at least it's just a one-time check and then they have this weapon, right? It's not something that's just constantly like, ooh, 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 you know what I'm saying? So I have not seen that, but after 0.10 comes, we can then take a look overall at the bigger picture of the game and look for those types of things to kind of double track on. It's not on the docket right now, but that's the answer to your question. So I hope that helps, dude. I appreciate the feedback. Vuguera, lore when? Just kidding. Take your time. Stoke. Vuguera, I told you, you know, you're a part. You know the stuff. You know the inside jokes. I got tons of lore that I can't wait to talk about. But we just 0.9 is literally everything right now. So heck yeah. All right. So that is the stream, people. That is a stream, and everybody say something in the chat. Say something in the chat, and I'm doing a giveaway. We didn't hit this live stream goal. We did last time. It was crazy. So that's, by all means, that was awesome. We sent out a whole bunch of stuff. We did a crazy giveaway. We did a triple giveaway last stream. It was a crazy birthday stream. So heck yeah. So today, say something in the chat, and then I'm going to do another DC20 giveaway. If you already have DC20, I'm going to give you some extra bells and whistles. And if you don't have DC20 yet, you get DC20, baby. Another thing to keep track of, I promised you guys I wouldn't cut my hair until here we go. Here, check it out. I wouldn't cut my hair until DC20 released. So my hair is wild right now. It is a little crazy. So I need a haircut, but I am not getting a haircut until 0.9 releases. So yeah, I'm sticking to it. Dang content 20. I might just keep growing it out. Who knows? We'll see. You just cut your hair. No, Hector, why'd you cut your hair? Why'd you cut your hair, Hector? Everyone should be on a non-haircut ban. Perspective schedule for 0.9. My goal, Master TMO, my goal is to give it to you guys for a Christmas present. That's my goal. We are behind on that goal, but that's my goal. So here we go. Mullet time, ponytail. Oh dear, ponytail. Anyway, here we go. Winner. What we got? The alchemist class, subclasses, potions. WQB, will there be an alchemist class or subclasses, just a potion person with bottles and cool pop? Yeah. So WQB, that will be an artificer subclass. Gotcha. Artificer subclass. What we got? And then we have Duskbreaker. What? Duskbreaker? Duskbreaker? That's crazy. That's so crazy. That's funny. Literally, Duskbreaker has been a huge part of the community, came in hot with the Kickstarter, started helping so much during the Kickstarter, did all this stuff on the Kickstarter, and then became a moderator on Discord. As of tonight, became a moderator on YouTube, and then won. So y'all can actually, you know what's funny? I'm not seeing anyone say rigged. I was waiting to say, no, this one is not, I'm not going to pull this one away from him just because he happened to be joined as a moderator tonight. I think that's an ironic, funny moment. So fate. That's right. There we go. Rigged. JK. You just you got me on that one. So heck yeah, dude. There you go, Dustbreaker. Oh, Dustbreaker calls rigged on himself. Okay. Sick, dude. Hey, Dustbreaker, message me on Discord. That's the easiest. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well deserved, dude. Well deserved. That's funny. So anyway, that is the stream. Next stream, we are going to reveal the final two. Next stream, we're revealing the final two classes, the subclasses, Champion, aka Fighter, renamed to Champion, and the Monk. And the Monk's going to be wild. Better buckle up for the Monk. Monk's going to be outside the box, if you know what I'm saying. Monk's outside the body. What? I spoiled it. Said too much. I've said too much. I have to end the stream now. Stay creative. Think outside the box. Peace.